There are about 50 million guides out there teaching you how to play Kiriko, and yet it has only been 2 weeks and people still just quite haven't gotten the grasp of the character, and rightfully so. Instead of giving you the full comprehensive guide on Kiriko, let's instead talk about how you should go about playing her in a ranked scenario as she drops there today. In order to really pop off as Kiriko, you have to first understand her general playstyle based on the team that she is surrounded by. Understanding the speed of the composition, or the tempo, is crucial in order to play really any character to your max potential. There are 2 compositions that I have seen Kiriko work with in high-level scrimmages thus far. One includes Kiriko within Brawl compositions alongside a Lucio and Zarya or Junker Queen, while the other features presence with dive compositions alongside Zenyatta with a D.Va or a Winston. In Brawl compositions, you are going to play much differently than you do with really any other support. Instead of hanging around your tank the whole game, it is sometimes more valuable to look and set up your friendly DPS for aggressive openings into the backline with your Suzu. In general, you should start by looking to support your tank when paired with a Lucio, but keep in mind that the thing that sets Kiriko apart from Moira and Baptiste is her capability to decimate enemy backlines. It is imperative to understand when it is time to go from passively supporting the front line to aggressively teleporting to your DPS in the backline to maximize your value and then getting away when it's all said and done. In dive compositions, her abilities are a bit more clear-cut. The general playstyle here is to set yourself up to wall climb in with the DPS to deal damage to the enemy backline and then teleporting back to your support to peel them when they get pressured, investing Suzu when needed. It is important to utilize her damage and mobility to the best of your ability, as that is the one thing that sets Kiriko apart from other supports. After all, if you can kill the enemy, you can heal your team from all of the damage they would have taken if they were still alive. Recall that Kunai does 120 damage to the head and 40 damage to the body. Mathematically, this is enough to 2-shot squishies and do serious damage to tanks. Keep in mind that you cannot critically hit shields, so Kiriko into Sigma is terrible for shield break. Healing Ofuda replenishes 135 health overall, 26 per shot. You can cancel the full burst by shooting or clicking the button again, as well as just focusing on weaving in damage with your healing. Each burst regenerates within the time it takes to shoot 1 kunai, which is really handy and easy to perform, maximizing your value. A technique really important to hone in on though is pre-healing before your teammates take damage. If your Genji is looking to jump in on the enemy backline, you can actually send the Ofuda in with him, which will keep him up while he takes the duel. It might seem simple, but it is a lot like Brigitte's packs when dueling, and it makes a big difference. Practicing aim is important in order to maximize your value, but that is something I can't teach. What I can teach is crosshair placement so you can hit headshots with your brain, not just your aim. Also, because the kunai is a projectile, you might find it easier to hit shots when you're closer to the enemy. Just make sure you do not blatantly compromise your positioning for it. On different maps, locate common angles enemies generally peek from and learn where their head level is. Some of these places include through the drum on Busan Sanctuary or the long sight lines provided by Esperanza. This might seem silly, but in ladder, teams generally are not accounting for poke they are taking in the pre-fight, thus every bit of offensive value counts. Moving on, the Protection Suzu is an ability much like that of Baptiste's Immortality Field. It is important to realize what is and is not cleansed by the ability first. The more important question, however, is when should you use your Protection Suzu? I've seen far too many cases of Kirikos wasting the ability whenever they see their teammate purple or critical. You should only use the ability when the team is in danger. Just because you are low health does not mean you are in active danger. If I am 1 health but I just killed the Genji contributing to a team kill, am I in danger? No, there are no enemies able to aggress on me. If my entire team gets naded, but the enemy is down their D.Va and the Genji doesn't have dash to aggress, my team is not in danger. That being said, if you recall our tempo tips, Kiriko is extremely aggressive compared to other supports, so don't be afraid to use your Suzu on yourself to get riskier if it creates picks for your team. It is important not to let the enemy force out this ability when it is incorrect to use it though. Misusing this ability is going to cost you games in ranked. If you perfect the usage on this ability, you will consistently be able to keep the right targets alive and carry games as a result. Kiriko's ultimate is a very strong engagement tool, but it does not only need to be used as such. After all, it lasts for 10.5 seconds, enough to counter an enemy blade and then some. That being said, it should only be used to turn these fights if it is absolutely winnable. So, in situations where you're even, as the value you get with the ultimate is exponential according to how many allies are alive. Keep in mind that Kiriko heals her team at a rate of about 150 health per second while in the ultimate as well, so spamming kunais is is not nearly as valuable if people are low when you consider Transcendence does 180 health per second. When a zero charge Zarya in Kiriko ult does more damage than a max charge Zarya outside of Kitsune Rush, understand that keeping her alive is priority number 1. Stack this on top of getting bubbles every 3 seconds and you're in for a swift fight win the more friendlies you have on the field. If you plan on staying in the Kiriko ult with your team, consider throwing Suzu as well to make sure that your team is alive long enough to take advantage of the extra resources available, since you are just going to charge another one in a few seconds anyways. Finally, it is important to get comfortable with movement before starting a climb on Kiriko. She only gets 1 jump but can climb on walls, which does allow for some sick playmaking opportunities when used in combination with her kunai knives. Also, make sure that you use her swift step teleportation to either get yourself out of danger or peel for a friendly support. If you're using it to dive, you are likely doing something wrong within the staging phase before the fight begins. Because of her wall climb, she does not lack any form of mobility vertically, which makes it easier to accomplish dives without teleporting. So if you were to take anything away from these videos, understand that Kiriko is just as demanding mechanically as she is mentally. Most of the time, success on the character is more about using abilities the right way at the right time rather than just aim. Take your time to understand your composition's tempo as well as your enemies and use your abilities accordingly. If you found value in today's video, consider giving the video a like or subscribing to the channel. I've been enjoying this character within scrims and I'm curious to see what her impact in ranks will be over time. What do you all think? Also, shout out to my past coach Poketude for helping with the concepts discussed in this video. I couldn't make any of my content without what he has taught me, so consider checking out his links in the description. Thank you all so much for watching, but until next time, I've got to peace out and Paz out. I'll see you in the next one.